You know, there was a very famous person in the Miami Beach area where I lived for more than 40 years. His name was Yochai, a Holocaust survivor, and the son of a Hasidic Rebbe. He was in business. He was a businessman, the old Hungarian businessman. And used to say the statement every year his wife was rocking, and they'd go back to Israel. And he made this famous statement. He said that when you're older, you're like an old chest that sits in a corner. As long as you don't move it, it's okay. But what happens when you try to move it? So it doesn't work out so good for the old chest. And here I am. I'm getting a little bit older now, and traveling is hard for me. I'm just getting back from vacation, and I got a cold right away. So all kinds of different things are going on, but we're still going forward. I went into a very mystical mood here. There are a lot of people. We live in a world which is not mystical. It doesn't look for the 50% behind. The Chassidim say, or the Chassidus, Baal Shem Tov said, that we're really like, why are we counted with a half shekel? Why aren't we counted in the midbar? Why aren't we counted with a whole shekel? He said, because 50% of what's going on in the world, you're never going to figure it out. It's just unfigure-outable. What you can figure out is how to make a living and have a family and do the Torah and the mitzvahs. You could figure that out. But on the other hand, the world keeps turning, and you were born into it. None of it was your choice, and here you are. How are you connected to your ancestors? How are you connected to the next world? You have problems in this world. How can you reach the throne of the Almighty to be able to ask Him for help? So at Baruch Hashem, we have this tremendous book. For the people whose life is determined to make money and to try to get ahead. In America, that's why we're here. We're here to try to go forward physically, because we come from such terrible, terrible hunger. So now we come over here, but that's not all of it. That's only half shekel. What about the other half? The half that leads you into the situations that you're in, that brought you to the man or woman who you married. How about your parents? Where do they come from? What is all this about? And here we are. We have Baruch Hashem, a wonderful Torah that brings us, the best possible life that one could have in this world. Yet nonetheless, one half of it is missing. So we go to Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon is the guide in the darkness. Rabbi Shimon is what you call the root of the Hod of Hod. Hod means the bottom line, the place where all the dinim really collect. He is the master of bringing light into the darkness. Let's see what he has to say. I guess we'll use the Matok Midrash. I also try different kinds of ways I want to do this. So we're learning Zohar now. Now, let's go to where we are in the Zohar. First, let me turn the page and just let everybody see, and let me get this light off, that this is the Zohar HaKodesh Benukad. It's in Pirush Matok B'Devash, and I want you to know this is actually the second publication that we've had in modern times. The first is the Sulam. It has many followers in Eretz Yisrael, and I've talked to people who are Bali Sulam, and they know Shtickle Torah. It's not the same kind of derech that you have here, which is really following the Ari. So these are things to be looked into, but at any rate, this is the Zohar Matok B'Devash. It's produced by a man by Rabbi Daniel Frisch, a Holocaust survivor, who devoted his life to translating. This is where we're standing right now. He devoted his life to translating the Zohar. His whole life, after he survived the Holocaust. Found a wife that would go along with him. He had children and a family. The whole thing, put this whole idea together. This was his life to try to understand the why. And a little bit better understanding of the what. Now I'm going to come over here. This is ParshatLLech. Now I ran into this because of a piece of the Shar Gavanas that I've been learning, and I couldn't translate it because it brought a lot of shtickle Zohar, and I couldn't translate it. But I did give a cipher reference, and I'm trying to get a little bit better for my cold. It's mostly in my throat now. So it says like this, Rabbi Shimon Chava Aza Ba'arch. This is the Zohar. V'havi imei Rabbi Elazar B'rei, Rabbi Abba Rabbi Yehuda. So 4 great men. Rabbi Shimon Chola B'derek V'hoyi imo Elecha Chaverim. Hadahava Azli, as he was going along. Ad Shehoya Cholkim Amar Rabbi Shimon Tavano Eich B'nei Alma Lo Mashgichim Lemindo Mili Daraisa. He said, I really don't understand how it is that people, Lo Mashgicha, they don't pay attention. They're so concerned about their status in their communities and their parnasa and all the other things that life has in it. Lemindo Mili Daraisa, to really understand words of Torah. He's talking about learning Sod. V'alma kaimi. Thomas, so he asks this question, Ani ech b'nei ha'olam lo nizcharim l'das divrei haTorah. Why aren't they careful? Why all humanity, but particularly the Jews? Why can't they be more careful? The das, to know the words of the Torah, v'ledas al ma hem kaimim, but also to understand that there's a sod of them. What do they stand on? Now let's see what the Matok Pedevash says. He says, Ratzon Lomer ki al yedei sheyilmod Torah yasig in yane hanaran sheba'adam va'aliyasim b'layla k'mefarish ba'azah. Now this is the story that we're actually learning in Kavanos. This is part of the story anyway, the Kavanos, about Kriya Shemal Alamita. When you go to sleep, we have an understanding that your soul rises. It rises back to its origin. Now, it's important to understand for those who really need to know that there are 5 levels of the soul. The lowest level is the soul that is associated with our bodies. So we're about to go to sleep. We're going to release that soul. That soul is called the name Nefesh. There's also a Ruach. There's a Neshama, which he mentioned here, which I'll go over the words maybe a little bit more, which is the word, let me see, the Naran, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. That's what it stands for. So how is it that the Naran, which is inside of us, is going to manifest itself after our bodies fall asleep? So he says like this, Pasach v'Omer, so his Rabbi Shimon began to speak, and he said, Nafshi ivisichu b'layla. Pirush. Mafshi, my soul. Now he's talking about really that level of the soul that is associated with the deeds of the body. Pirush nafshi dis'avach la'alos alecha Hashem b'layla b'shinasi. That's what I want. When I go to sleep, I want my soul to go to you. Af ruchi b'kirbi ashachareka. Pirush ki kol od sheruchi b'kirbi. Now remember, nefesh is the lowest level of soul. There's a higher level which is connected to it, which is called ruach. So he said, Pirush ki kol od sheruchi b'kirbi ashacher ve'edrosh osoch. I will make an effort. I don't know what the shacher means. Shacher is lashon morning. In the morning, I will reach the morning, and I will ask from you. And in other words, I will be coming to seek you. Hi, so it's already been explained. Also, this group of people, or that is the chevra of Rabbi Shimon, and he's talking about, look back, he says, Pasuk zeh kavar pirshucha chachamim. So he talk about people who knew Sod, who told the inside of Sod before the time of Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi Akiba, those his teachers, so on and so forth. So he said, Ha krog ukmucha v'kim nilei, avagato chazi, nafshe de barnash, kad salik la'arsek. When that soul of a man, and he goes up on his bed about time to leave him, let's say he's going to sleep. Nafkas b'mei v'salka la'ele, it leaves him, and it goes up. Avachavabah v'reka she'adem oila al mitasa v'yashin, and now he's sleeping. Oz nafsho yotzes b'mene v'oila lamala, it leaves him, and it goes up. Now this is for each and every human being. V'yitem the guhul salka, and if you say Tomer shekol hanefashos olos, that all nefashos goes the chazal b'noam Hashem v'levaka b'hecholo. We have that in other words, to come into the presence of the Almighty. V'omelav kol chad v'chad chape ape malka. He said, but although kol echad zeicha, not everybody is merits. The rosa penecha melech, to see the face of the king. The malchus his chadesh ball. So what happens is that to leave the world of Asiya in which we live and reach that soul, to reach the highest possible place that it can, and he says, lihislavesh hainu la'alos the malchus, to come to the malchus of Atzilus. Malchus is at the pad. It's like the opening to Atzilus. His chadesh bar, to become renewed again. Now he mentions over here, let's see what he says. Kamosha Kosev B'shar Kavanish Drush Gibel Delilah. So Tadshim the Bakarim Rabachon the Masecho. He said Ki HaMalchus Nikras Amuna. Another name for Malchus is Amuna. Naasis Gedola V'Rabach B'Kol Lila. She grows, and she becomes tremendously great every single night. In the Neshamas HaTachtonim, how does it grow like that? How does this Malchus, the Malchus of Atzilus, see, as Malchus Atzilus grows, what it means is she only grows as a result of Shefa that is coming from up above her. This is happening because of the efforts that are being made down below in the lowest placid places, which is where we live, which is called Mayim Nukvin, female waters, the lacks, the things, the 50% that we're missing in this world. Ha'olas b'kol laila lihikala v'lihis aver b'socha, gehelis chazechade sham b'hiyosa b'socha, in order to become completely renewed in that shefa, the flow of the light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, that is deposited in Malchus, that our lowest possible element can rise up to that place. Now, sometimes they call this the Aliyah of Malchus to Bina. It's not quite that, because here we're talking about going to sleep at night. This is renewing the Nefesh, the animal part of us, as a result of being able to reach up into Olam Atzilus. V'achar kach nikros yotzes v'achar kach b'boker, Yotzes b'sham mechudashos. V'zecha masha kasav tadshe ma'ara lev'chanav. It's like dasher, like it regrouped, nice and green and ready to grow, ready to go. L'bekarim for the morning. Ella nafsha salka v'lo yishtayer ba b'hadi gufa barchad rishima de kista the chayesech of the liba. This is a whole phrase in Aramaic that people who have learned a little Zohar, they've seen it before. Elahanafa shel kol b'nei adam yotzes mineguf. They go out from the body. Lo nisha'aracha beguf. What's left in the body. In other words, all the persons, the nefesh represents the life force. That's the beating of your heart. Stops. Unless something remains. This is called the kasta de chayasa, he calls it, is the force that makes your heart beat. Midas hughes halev. Only without this, it's impossible for you to live. So therefore, everything leaves of your soul. Now, what it means exactly, I don't know. There is something that makes your blood pump. That's your heart, right? So the heart is almost completely and totally quiet. The only thing about it, and this is, it has no relationship whatsoever with, no relationship that we understand with the flow of your blood or the working of your muscles or the thinking in your mind. But something still is there. That's called the kasta de chayes. Let's go on. It's like a crystal, a little crystal or something like that still remains, that beats. Umamshik the farashki nafsha azlacha bebar the salka. A nefesh cholechas v'rotza the alos v'malchus his chadesh bo. So it wants to go back into malchus and wants to renew itself there. Kam bedarging the dargasalka. Did you think that just you close your eyes, you fall asleep, and you're there? No, it's not right. There are many different levels to reach the portal of Atzilus, which is called Malchus. Ki ein ma'aver min ha'olam ha'gashmi ela olam ha'ruchni im lo sa'aver es shlosha klipos tumos shehem tohu vohu vochoshech. Wow. You have to go through these three klipos. There's klipos tumeos, which will lead you in all types of false directions. Does any man not know what a wet dream is? Shehem tohu vohu v'choshech. That's their name. V'achakach he overes as klipas noga. But then there's another klipa, a klipa on the outside of them. I guess you would say on the inside of them. Called the klipa noga. Mishum he ola ala gadusha, because noga, the klipa called noga, this is interesting, has a ladder into gadusha. V'chein nefesh ha'adam b'tzeis b'haguf shata. So therefore the body, that is, excuse me, I said it wrong, exactly wrong. He says the nefesh ha'adam b'tzeis b'haguf, the nefesh of a man when it goes out of his body. Shatos. It starts flying, flies around, floats around. V'hi is a'aras b'hani kumrim dihirim avusa. Now this is what caused me to come over to the Zohar, because I couldn't translate this phrase. So here he said v'his is a'aras, it strikes, b'hani kumrim. I don't know this word kumrim. I looked it up in Hebrew and I looked it up in, there's two different kinds of Aramaic. This is called Western Aramaic. So the Zohar, excuse me, the Talmud Bavli, which we have at Jastra, we have tremendous access into it, is Eastern Aramaic. It's Babylonian Aramaic. It's different. So therefore you can't necessarily find the word kumrim and the word tihirim, which got to know what they mean in order for this to make sense. You wouldn't necessarily find that in the Bavli. The misavusa, which means tome. Now he gives a translation, thank you. He says, Imoshetes apogeshes, it starts flying, floating, let's say floating. Ubokeshes, and then strikes, be'elu ha-klipos, it runs into the klipos, because the klipos surround our world. 3 klipos. Plus a klipa noga, which is, it's like an interface, which has a ladder into the worst possible places, but also a ladder out. Going on, upogeshes be'elu ha-klipos, hatameos, hatamunim ba'avir, umeiru sham. They are in space, and they shine in space. The sogros hadrachim, and they closed up all the paths. You can't get to the light. The light is blocked. You want the light. You need the light. You need to be refreshed. You need light back in the fresh, but they block it. Shal nefesh lo tuchol la'alos. It makes it impossible. Now, he helped me out here. He says, I mean, I like the Matok Zavash. Now, we also know that there's also a Kesser Kavod who has a lot on the Zohar. And there's new things coming out. Now I'm going to be getting it from a group called the Ma'or on Tikkuni Zohar, maybe learning that soon. So I'm supposed to be getting a set. Let's see. Midas Kumrin. What does this word Kumrin mean? It sounds like a Komer is a priest, I thought, in Hebrew. But it's not the same word. He Meloshin Mishnah in Oholos, Paragimel Mishnah Zayin. What's he say over there? He says the bib is a font. It's like a faucet. Shuhu kamor tachas abayit. So this says, maybe it's not a faucet, maybe he means a flow of water, a spout. But it's underneath the body. Shapira Sharav, he said, the Rav explained, it's a chapira bekarka. They dig into the karka, a makora, and down to its roots. Shepirusha shesagura milamala. In other words, that I guess it means that it sounds like it's a drain pipe to me. But so let's see if that would work. He said, bakura shepirusha sagura milamala. It's closed up on the top, but this pipe is running underneath the ground. Now he says, okay, so what do I get out of that? He says, "V'leishu kamor tachas." It means hidden, something like that. Tachas habayit. Umilas tehirim he veloshin shraga betihra. Tehirim means shiners, something that shines really bright, like a candle at tihra, which is noontime. So there's these different kinds of klipos out there. One of them is something hidden. It's like a main power that cannot be seen. The other one is a tremendously bright, shining light. The kiyas, if the person as created is a pure person, translation, if on that particular place, and when they say nitma, he really is talking about, I think, hirim roim, different kinds of sexual averas that people might get into. Let's say the person was pure, he didn't do any of that. He made sure that his thoughts were pure. So they can't hold him back. It automatically goes up. They got nothing on this guy. He's innocent. But let's say he's not. He didn't have such a great day. The kiyas is the avas penaichu is dabkas behu v'lo salka yater. V'im einer tehera oz nisha'eres v'nitmas benechem. So then he remains, and he remains stuck in their midst. Let's go back to the nocturnal emission, what we call the wet dream. Let's go back to that for a minute. He says, "Mizdavek is behem," and he clings on to them, and there are different kinds of thoughts and the tivus that he had that brought him to the hihurim roim or the maisim roim. Ve'inin, there's no sentence, lola alas yosef amal. They can't get up any higher. That's it. Then he said, "V'tamen l'doi law milim." V'sham modias law eze devarim mimasha shenigzor lamala. So then let's just get back to this. He says, when he gets to this place where he's stuck, because of a blemish that occurred to his nefesh during the daytime, he starts V'sham Modia's law. He starts to seeing what he did. He begins to see what his punishment going to be. Now he understands, he reaches B'choloma in a dream. He starts to have a dream. Of the things that are going to happen soon. But sometimes, nitma is called kach, that the person becomes really and deeply tame. So these ideas. So let me try to translate this. I'm trying to understand it better. He says, "Upamim im nitma kol kach shelo tizke l'shmoa la'osem ha'yediyos." He's not able to hear the complaints that are against him. Sheyevohu b'karov, and that the punishment for them is coming around. The thing is that we get punished, we don't really realize our punishment. Sometimes we think we got something good. Turns out to be it's really bad. The opposite is also true. So then they come into him in a dream, and they start lying to him. This is what happens. The whole night long, the person dreams and dreams and dreams, and he dreams sheker, he dreams lies. He dreams something which has a little bit of truth in it, but actually the whole flavor of the dream is something not kosher. And this goes on until a person wakes up. And that's what happens. Now the nefesh comes back into the person's body. The Gale lone kutra berichu rozin delay bechelm begin the istamnon medina. Listen to this. He says, Ashreichem et tzadikim. So he's talking about you and me. We're not always tzadikim, but we can be tzadikim. We can make every day more mutztak than the day before it. Ashreichem et tzadikim shel HaKodesh Baruch Hu magala lechem sodos shelo b'cholom. Now these were talking about us now, learning this. Happy is the person of those righteous people. And we are righteous right now as we are listening. There's no question about that. We're listening to the words of Rabbi Shimon. Sha'kodesh Baruch Hu megadol lechem, that the Kodesh Baruch Hu reveals himself to them. The sodas, the real secret, the 50% of the life that you need to know. Shalom b'cholom, shalom b'cholom, where he shows it to the person in a dream. Kedei she'yad nishmarim min adin, in order to guard him from things that are going to be bad that are coming. Now let's see, he has explanation. He thinks this needs explanation. He says, Rotzon olomer ayish sheyodim b'cholomam. Person sees in his dreams, Masha nigza lamala, what has been decreed from up above, Gam mehadavarim sheyavol lizman rachok. He could see even the destiny. He could even see what's going to happen a long time from now. Hey, misa'anim v'shavim, these people fast, they do tshuva, umavatlan as a gezeras, and from that, they're able to nullify the decree. Now you have to think about what that means. Is he says that if your mind is actually clear of Avera, I use the word mind, let's say your soul is actually clear of the Avera for the day, those dreams that you have will actually show you something. It may be in a long distance, but it will give you a chance to be able to repent, to try to do something about it. And that's what we learn soon. Because for people who love to pray and want to have dvekus with Hashem, there's no other way. Oilechem the Rishoya, oilem for those people who are really on the wrong path. Shemitameim gufan, that they made, and this is what he wants to say. This is a powerful thing to understand. They are shvich zera levatala. These are people who constantly are thinking about the other sex and want to get out of the relationships and abandon their responsibilities and just let everything become hefker. That's a part of us. So he says the Rishoy Olam Shemitamim Gufan, they actually get involved in the worst imaginable things. But Nafsham Biyon, and their soul on the day, Ayidei Maisim Roim, it also comes as a back of the bad things people do. Some people do terrible bad things. Shebezicha begormen shalol ta'alam nafsham. For this we can conclude. Shalol ta'alam nafsham, that these souls are not going upwards. They're not going upwards lamala, belayla. And that's the Zohar. Just saw it, and it's something we have to think about. As I've written now, and I realize I'm getting older, and I'm getting to a point where I really, have to do my own thing. And I realize that I am a Breslov closet Breslover. But it's okay by Rabbeinu Kodesh. I know he doesn't mind. And I believe that prayer is a very powerful tool. I see the Ashkenazim I'm Ashkenaz, and I learn with Ashkenazim, and I learn Ashkenaz style. But I see they're devoted totally to learning halacha, good halacha shir, and that's their level. I need to know more. I need to know the whys. I'm not finding. Rebbe Memron told me you'll never figure out why, but you can look for it. This is Baruch Fleischman. I hope you've enjoyed the shir. We'll try to find more and do it every day.